Action has been the preferred mode of American patriots since the Revolutionary War that gave birth to our democratic republic. Western Colorado Days of Action has been proud to continue that tradition with the action tools of modern America. A year of emails, phone calls, demonstrations, letters to elected officials, and letters to the newspapers, rallies, town halls, forums, and meetings has shown the people of Western Colorado, the state and the country, that when faced with attempts to govern in darkness, to take away our fellow citizens' health care, their right to vote, and their right to be treated equally under the law, to close the portals of America to today's generations of immigrants, to deny proven facts, to dismiss science, to attack our constitutionally guaranteed free speech, we will not stand by and do nothing. We will act in the tradition of our founders. We will act for peace. We will act for social justice. We have acted and we will continue to act for the simple reason that we as a country cannot afford not to act.
This couldn't possibly be right. And since then, reality has smacked us in the face every single day. And for some of us, it's been very emotional and very traumatizing, and others, it's been empowering for the fight. And we're only just getting started.
Hi, I'm Tom, and I'm from Wisconsin, actually. And my reaction right after was the disappointment that a lot of the gerrymandering, for example, had worked in Wisconsin, and I was just shocked.
Yeah, okay.
Hi, I'm Mary. This was me after the day after. We've gotten over it.
Patriotism means to stand by the country. It does not mean to stand by the president or any other public official, save exactly to the degree in which he himself stands by the country. It is patriotic to support him insofar as he efficiently serves the country. It is unpatriotic not to oppose him, to the exact extent that by inefficiency or otherwise, he fails in his duty to stand by the country. In either event, it is unpatriotic not to tell the truth, whether about the president or anyone else. Theodore Roosevelt. In January 2017, following the inauguration of Donald Trump as the 45th President of the United States, existing Grand Valley organizations were energized in their patriotic response, and new groups arose out of the shared desire of their members to speak truth to power. Face-to-face meetings with your elected representatives and senators is an essential part of government in a democratic republic. President Dwight Eisenhower said, "Politics ought to be the part-time profession of every citizen who would protect the rights and privileges of free men." Town hall meetings with your elected representatives is an excellent way to follow Ike's advice. For the people for whom politics is their part-time profession, this involves some sacrifice and is to be commended. For the representatives and senators for whom politics is their full-time profession, shirking this duty is disrespectful to the electorate and is to be condemned.
No, bridging the gap. I mean, that really is what we're talking about. And Erica was talking about the long haul and having fun and how to find joy in what we're doing. And I think one of the things that we've been talking about is part of resilience for the long haul is staying connected in community, so that bridging the gap.
So my question is, when are you going to start to consider junking the entire broken system and go to Medicare for all?
In January, you accepted $49,800 from the DeVos family. Betsy DeVos is a woman who has no experience in public education. In fact, her only experience in education is her own private school that failed miserably. So I don't really understand why she's qualified to be the Secretary of Education to begin with. But that's not my question.
Communities are not built of friends or of groups of people with similar styles and tastes, or even of people who like and understand each other. They are built of people who feel they are part of something that is bigger than themselves, a shared goal or enterprise, like righting a wrong, or building a road, or raising children, or living honorably, or worshiping a god. To build community requires only the ability to see value in others, to look at them and see a potential partner in one's enterprise. Suzanne Goldsmith. resistance to injustice sparked the blossoming of thousands of hidden artists in the valley. Unpaid, with basic materials, little funds, and unlimited creativity, the voices of the valley spoke out in a clever, colorful parade of signs. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Martin Luther King. Hundreds marched to the Handy Chapel in Grand Junction to make it clear to one and all that upholding the civil rights of everybody is important to the people of the Grand Valley. Pundits talk about populist rage as a way to trivialize the anger and fear coursing through the middle class. Senator Elizabeth Warren. On January 22, 2017, it was clear that the people in the Grand Valley were past populist rage and were moving quickly to action. Over 1,000 men, women, and children showed up on a cool, wet morning to show support for women's rights. Taxes are the price we pay for a civilized society. Oliver Wendell Holmes.
Who cares? We care! Louder! We care!
300 Western Slope citizens turned out for the National Tax March to demand Donald Trump make his tax returns public. Marchers gathered at Grand Junction City Hall to listen to speeches before starting off on a route through downtown that took them along Main Street, Grand Avenue, and to the post office, where they mailed postcards to Trump saying they wanted him to release his taxes. Grand Valley citizens, in agreement with Justice Louis Brandeis that sunlight is said to be the best of disinfectants, expect this president to demonstrate his leadership by showing that he has indeed paid his fair share for the price of a civilized society. From the mission statement of the Western Slope March for Science. The goals of the March for Science are to humanize science, support scientific inquiry and scientific literacy by partnering with the public to affirm science as a democratic value and make science programs accessible for everyone. Science protects the health of our communities, the safety of our families, the education of our children, the foundation of our economy and jobs, and the future we all want to live in and preserve for future generations. We speak up now because the independence of science is currently at risk. When science is threatened, so is the society that science upholds. Some 800 scientists and supporters of science across the Grand Valley came together for the very first Western Slope March for Science on April 22nd. Part of a worldwide series of marches, the event brought together different parts of the scientific community in nonpartisan support of evidence-based policy. The march's goal was to educate the community, promote scientific progress, and to spread the idea that science is not a partisan issue. We live in a society exquisitely dependent on science and technology, in which hardly anyone knows anything about science and technology. Carl Sagan. "80 people marched in downtown Montrose, bringing the message to our fellow citizens that belief in climate change is optional, but participation is mandatory. The protest ended with the crowd sitting down and beating 100 heartbeats to signify Trump's 100 days in office. This was done at the Mountain Time that synchronized with climate marches in the other time zones so that the nation was beating its heart at the same time. America is confronting the pressing and pervasive threat of global climate change. This is not a Democratic or a Republican issue, not a liberal or a conservative issue. This is a human issue." Senator Olympia Snowe. Alike for the nation and the individual, the one indispensable requisite is character. Theodore Roosevelt.
Act with honesty and accountability toward all constituents. You must not lie to the American people. We are the people. And we will not be quiet. And we will not give up.
The Western Slope is sometimes characterized as homogeneously conservative. The truth is much different. Our community is richer and stronger for the diversity we see in the LGBT community. We should keep calm in the face of difference and live our lives in a state of inclusion and wonder at the diversity of humanity. George Takei. One flag, one land, one heart, one hand, one nation forevermore. Oliver Wendell Holmes. A series of rallies in response to the indignity of the administration's reversal of DACA took place on the Western Slope. We showed our support of these bright, educated, hard-working dreamers who are being threatened with deportation. Local organizations took up the task of education and communication to focus efforts in a productive way. As Rollo May said, communication leads to community, that is, to understanding, intimacy, and mutual valuing. The first D3 Summit provided a forum for collaboration and coordination for progressive organizations and causes throughout Colorado's 3rd Congressional District.
I'm Sam, I'm from Grand Junction, Colorado, and I came here today because I care about politics and right now is the time to take action.
Hi, I'm Melissa Hampton. I'm here from Steamboat Springs and delighted to be in a group of like-minded progressive thinkers because I think we can really make a difference here in Colorado's 3rd District.
The Western Colorado Congress Conference sought to create a roadmap when the political landscape won't hold still. The focus was on national and local issues to make assessments and to plan for campaigns.
This is our moment. We should not despair. Fighting and winning this race means a big change here in the state of Colorado.
Our future cannot depend on the government alone. The ultimate solutions lie in the attitudes and the actions of the American people. Joe Biden. It takes but one person, one moment, one conviction to start a ripple of change. Donna Brazil.
It's often said that we should go home. My answer to that is my home. The greatest thing about becoming a United States citizen is that this validates the fact that this is my home.
What democracy looks like is the current generation working for and with the next generation to ensure our freedoms are passed on, to ensure that all can live healthy and honest lives on this, our small blue planet. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. John F. Kennedy.
Okay, so something that I think is really important in the community is for youth to be involved. And it's the only by way of civic action can we do something like that. And with that, we've seen throughout all the different marches and different things that we really have gotten youth involved in that and youth engagement.
I am Liberty. I think we're lacking a lot of love, which is super important. I think we're lacking coming together as a community, and we're kind of stepping back from what we believe in, and we have to be more vocal about what we stand for and what we want to become.
I think that a few of the most important issues are education, for one, because we need to invest in our future. I think that more funding towards our schools, our public school systems, is essential in how this country is going to go. And then another issue that I believe to be important is healthcare. I think that compared to other developed nations like England with their amazing healthcare system, I think that America's kind of falling behind.
I'm a senior at Fertile Monument High School. My grandchildren and every kid that ever to live to be able to have those opportunities to play soccer outside and to, you know, have a safe world to live in, and just for the environment to be a place that we can all enjoy for the rest of our lives.
So why are you here at the 4th of July parade?
Well, I'm here to support the local Democratic Party and to basically be here as a young person to show that you can be involved with politics at an early age.
So why are you here today?
I'm here because I love my country and I'm representing the People Power group in the Western Slope.
America, why are you here at the 4th of July parade?
Let's go USA, USA all the way. Oh, and Captain America was a New Deal Democrat.